and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for you. So yes, I am in my mermaid swimsuit at the pool because it's July and it's beautiful here in Alberta right now, and so many pool days lately. How the heck does it get any better? All right, so how to acknowledgize the contribution you be. Yeah. So I did a post recently about hubby and I, and how he had made a comment to a contractor that was looking at doing some work for us about how basically I'm the success. I'm the reason we have all of this magic. And that's very kind. However, it's actually not true. And what I know to be true is that if I didn't have him, if he wasn't part of this magical co-creation, it would be so much more difficult for me. And that really is what we want to acknowledgize for ourselves. So I've really looked at how easy it is for me to acknowledgize the contribution that he be's to me, and the magic that we co-create with him. And what about the contribution I be? What about acknowledgizing that? And so that's really where this whole radio show was birthed, was that we often miss that part. It's easy for us to go, man, it would be so tough to not have that person in my world, or what the secretary does in the office, or all those sorts of things. It's easy to do that for the most part. But it really is our job to acknowledgize us. And once we acknowledgize us, it's going to be so much more ease for us to actually truly gift that to other people. And so one of the things that I put on my reminder app, you guys, if you've been around for a while, you know I use my reminder app for everything, including clearings. So every night at 9 p.m. there's a reminder app. It used to just say acknowledge me. And I didn't find that was so easy to do. Like I could spend a few minutes and just get the energy of what maybe I contributed to that day and such like that. However, I found a clearing from actually a long time ago, years and years ago, from, this is Access Consciousness, if anybody isn't familiar. And what it did was, it's all about, and so this is the wording of it. I'll see if I can remember it. We'll definitely put the way that I say it in the show notes. So if I don't say it correctly, go to the show notes. You can get them in the email. They're on my webpage too. If you just go to glenycehughes.com radio show, this specific show, it'll be underneath. And it's basically, what beyond this reality acknowledgement of me can I be for everything I contributed today, for the magic that I contributed to, for the miracles that I contributed to, and for everything I'm choosing to be. Anything that doesn't allow that, I destroy and uncreate it all, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. And so what that clearing does for me is it reminds me it's beyond this reality. So I can look at how, I'm not sure, maybe I helped hubby send a text to somebody. So I can say, oh, well, I contributed that way. So that is, yes, and how many beyond this reality ways did I contribute? Like that, like acknowledging all of it. So yes, the assistance with the email and all of it. And the more that we do that, the more that we'll also be aware of the contribution we be. Because most of us, if you're watching this or listening to this, of course it comes out as video and a podcast, so depending on how you consume this, most of us that would be interested in this sort of a topic, it really is this space of spending most of our life in the wrongness of us, most of our life not acknowledging our contribution. In fact, most of our life judging that we aren't a contribution, that there's nothing that we do, that there's nothing that we contribute, and all of that judgment, when really there's so much. It's just that it often isn't that linear way. And it can be, of course, we can help people with emails or clean their house or do all sorts of things. And what else? What else? There's so many ways. And the more that you acknowledge yourself for it, the more ease it's going to be for you to be aware of it throughout the day. The other thing is you won't then require anybody else to acknowledge it for you. And I think that that's a huge, well, I know for me that's a huge piece, because I did spend a lot of years, probably more of my years, looking for that acknowledgement for somebody else. Like if somebody else saw me as valuable, if somebody else noticed that contribution or noticed that just me being part of something changed it or contributed to it, then it was true. But if it was just me doing it, it's not the same thing. And yet I have to be the one. I have to be the one for me first, and then all of that I can actually receive. Yeah, so everywhere you haven't been willing to acknowledgize you as the contribution that you truly be in every area of your life and living and beyond, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Whew, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POC, shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Because that's the other part, is we don't just contribute by being alive with a body. We contribute when we're beings without bodies. We contribute. There's no limitation to our contribution. The other day I went to a celebration of life for my sweet friend Jen, and her and I had the same adoration of nice hot sunshine and a cooler swimming pool, and hubby and I stopped to pick up some flowers to take to the service. And when I was getting them into the car, they were very, very high. And when I was getting them into the car, I tipped it a little bit, and and I spilled some of the cold, cold, cold water. And it was a hot, hot day, just like this. And I was hot, hot, hot. And I poured this cold water right into my lap. And I just knew that it was Jen contributing to a smile, to a laugh, and also to the cool water. Very refreshing. And I also had a dress on that wouldn't have shown the water. How did I get so lucky? Because I looked at a different dress. There was another dress I was going to wear, and I was just like, if I'd have been wearing that dress, I would have looked like I peed myself, which would have been funny too, but this was such a gift. So Jen doesn't have to be in body anymore to contribute, and neither does any of the people that we knew or the beings and all of that. So if we're willing to receive from it all, then the more we acknowledge us first, then we'll receive even more. We'll recognize it even more, as if by magic. Now, I have a show from many, many years ago. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. Gosh, what is the title? It's something around acknowledgizing or acknowledgement. So I say that so Erica, my magician, one of my main magicians in the business, can find it and put it below. So it really talks more in depth about acknowledging, but I wanted to do this show really to recognize that there's always more. There's always more. So I've been acknowledgizing myself for a long, long time, years and years. And really this kind of choice of doing it every day and recognizing that just, a reminder app saying, acknowledge me, not so much, but that clearing, that has really contributed. And that might not work for you. Know that you don't have to do any of the things that I suggest. I just like to share my journey so that you guys know that it's not like, oh, she started acknowledging herself in 2014, so she's done that now. It's like, no, this is an ongoing journey. In fact, I heard Gary Douglas say once that we will often use the term, oh, I finally get that tool. Like I finally get it. I finally get acknowledging myself. And what he suggests is to reword it to be more accurate to what's true, which is I'm getting that tool. So back in 2014, whenever it was that I really started acknowledgizing myself, I was getting that tool. 2022, all these years later, guys, I'm still getting that tool. There is no end point. There is no, oh, I got that one figured out, I can move on. It's continuous. And for me personally, it is continuous. It is about choosing greater and greater and greater. And sometimes it's coming back to tools that we've previously used. Sometimes it's the new tools that have come out. Sometimes it's the tools that you might have learned in your first bars class that might have been 20 years ago that maybe doesn't seem relevant, but it's hugely relevant. The more that you're choosing, the more that you're looking to create greater, guys, this is the magic. This is the magic. The getting of the tools continuously without any endpoint, without any expectation, without any, this is it, I've got it, can create so much magic. So I invite you so deeply, my sweet friends, if you have not attended or looking to repeat, foundation. I've got an online foundation coming up at the end of August. So it's online only and it's 4 hours a day. So it makes it super easy to fit into your world. I so suggest it. Again, for anybody who hasn't taken it, you do require to have taken a bars class. So you do require that one, but you can take an online foundation. And whether it's your first time or your 50 millionth time, you're going to be getting the tools in different ways. That's what we do. So thank you so much for being here, guys. I look forward to chatting again next week.